Do you want a financially secure future, not just for yourself, but for your loved ones as well? This is Generations of Wealth, the podcast that breaks down the most effective wealth building strategies you can easily apply to your own life. Join investor and international best-selling author Derek Dombeck in exploring practical tips and sound advice on building a profitable business, creating a powerful brand, or getting into the thriving world of real estate investing. This is your chance to create your very own financial roadmap to live your vision, love your life. Let's begin this discussion with your host, Derek Dombeck.
And welcome back to the Generations of Wealth podcast. I'm Derek Dombeck, your host, and this is a show where we interview people and talk about really awesome things that can help us live our visions, love our lives. And right now I've got Chad Burmeister with us. This is a topic that is really, really awesome for me because I am not technologically advanced at all, but there's so many new AI tools that are coming online and changing literally daily. And even somebody as ignorant as myself when it comes to tech can utilize a lot of this stuff. So Chad, man, thanks for giving us some of your time. And if you wouldn't mind, just tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, great to be here. Well, I was born in Madison, Wisconsin. So that's the first point, probably puts me in the plus column for listeners of the show. But I will tell you now I'm in Denver, Colorado. So that might put me in the minus maybe. So neutral, will be neutral on the show. But I was born in Madison. My dad went to UW, Wisconsin. I still have a lot of family that's back in Wisconsin. Great place. Especially if you love the cold in the winter. I myself am a skier, an avid skier since I was 5. My son's a snowboarder, my daughter skis, my wife skis, so we're a ski family. But yeah, I've been in and around AI for 7 years since I started the business. It's called BDR.ai. For those that don't know, BDR stands for Business Development Representative. So in technology, you know, I've lived in the Bay Area, San Francisco, I've lived in SoCal, NorCal, Arizona, as well as North Carolina. And most people that are in the tech world know of a BDR. It's a discrete individual person whose job it is to build pipeline and book meetings for their salespeople that they support. We created BDR.ai to be an AI or automation to help book pipeline and meetings for salespeople without the need for the full-time quota carrying $7,000 a month resource. So that's what I've been doing for the last 7 years and learned a few things along the way.
So were you in sales before? I guess what led you up to the starting of this business 7 years ago?
Yeah, I've been in sales since I was probably 10 years old, you know, riding the bus to school in the morning, and I'd buy a gross of suckers and we probably paid a nickel each and we sold them for a quarter each. So I've always been in the art of sales. And over the last 30 years, I've had teams of 100 or more salespeople, and then, you know, smaller teams than that, and done sales myself on an individual basis as well. So anything and everything, but I've always loved sales. And I've always been ahead of the curve when it comes to technologies, processes, and, you know, ways to attract customers.
So specifically to, you know, my niche, real estate investing, not that this has to just be about real estate investing, but where do you see AI being helpful in as a sales tool? Because I'm a little old school, right? I like to be at the kitchen table across from the person I'm interacting with or negotiating with. And so from what I'm hearing, and I'm coming at you from a place of infancy in the AI world, right? What can AI do to help me? Is it just lining up that appointment or
Yeah, so I have some customers that are in the investment real estate space. So there's a gentleman in Florida that comes to mind, and he approached us and said, "Hey, I need to meet with people in family offices, for example, right? How do I go approach them?" So that was one of our first projects, was pulling a list of people that are in family offices. Now, the very first part where AI can come in is, okay, well, who do we need to reach? A family office could have a dozen or 24 different titles. Like, who's the right title? So you go to ChatGPT, pop open a prompt. Who within a family office should we reach out to regarding investing in real estate? right? And boom, a list of 7 different titles popped out. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that. I'm new to the family office space. Perfect. So then you could jump over to your data tool, copy and paste those 7 titles, and say, I want a list of people in Florida that are family offices, maybe $1 million to $50 million in revenue, and go pull me that list. So now you've got your list of hundreds, if not thousands of people. Then you go jump over to your BDR.ai tool that does LinkedIn outreach. So then you schedule a pre-configured connection request. Hey, looking to connect with you. Been doing for 38 years, this particular guy, Bob, 38 years in the process of helping raise debt, equity, capital raise, a number of different ways that we help investors raise or help people raise money. Would it make sense to, let's connect on LinkedIn? Then they wait 2 or 3 days, send the next message. Hey, glad to be connected. Did you see this article in the Wall Street Journal? And it's an education, right? Something that you might want to send to an investor. Hey, check this out. You're a family office. Thought you might be interested in this. Might not have anything to do with the product or the company, but it's just something of value. So I've kind of walked you through how do you start from who I want to reach? Then here's the list of people I need to reach. And then you start with the LinkedIn campaign. Within like 4 days, he got 3 potential projects, 2 of which are multi-million-dollar projects. And he's like, Chad, this is awesome. And now he wants to meet with me once a week to help him configure new campaigns all the time.
Well, I got so many more questions now, Chad.
Yeah, I figured that might happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole goal of me hosting this show is it's very self-serving and it's fantastic, but it helps the listeners at the same time. So BDR.ai, your company, your solutions company. So is that like using a LinkedIn campaign? That's just one small segment of what you do, right? So what else does BDR.ai do? Because
look at there's 3 parts to a program, right? There's the data, underlying data. Then there's digital outreach, could be through LinkedIn, Facebook, or any other social media channel. And then there's dialing. So hey, if those other channels don't work, then we might need to actually call the person. So data, digital, dials are the 3 sort of areas that the company focuses on.
Okay. So that was a great story about, that guy wanting to deal with family offices. What am I missing? Like, what else can it do? I know I'm not asking a really specific question.
Let me pivot. So we talked about LinkedIn, right? We talked about in LinkedIn, you can only connect with 25 net new people a day. That's the throttle limit that LinkedIn allows you to do. So over a month, that's 500 people. So that's a pretty fair size list. But the way that the LinkedIn AI works, it's a connection request, then there might be a like of their 3 posts and all that can be automated. Then we follow their profile, that's automated. When someone replies, so let's say this investor or family office representative replies, then it's incumbent on the rep. So you or someone on your team would go in and handle the reply from there. This is more like an opener kind of a tool than a closer. Mm-hmm. The Facebook AI we launched about 14 weeks ago. It's fully powered by ChatGPT, and it not only opens the conversation, but it also has the conversation. And then we program the AI to actually have one of 3 different outcomes, right? There's like, maybe we want to say, let's first try to offer downloading a white paper. Second, let's offer the $99 a month subscription to our podcast or service or whatever. Mm-hmm. Third, we're having a cruise ship in February. Let's see if we can have the AI sell $997 cruise ship attendee. So it's really powerful because now you point, the Facebook AI gets pointed at groups. So you go and you say, let's look at real estate investing groups in Green Bay. I'll bet you there's 10 of them. And so you can be very focused and pointed to say, hey, noticed you joined the Green Bay, Wisconsin real estate investor group. Now you're training the AI to say, when did you first become interested in real estate investing? And then once the fish gets on the line, now the chatbot has the entire conversation. And all we've done is trained it. And I've been told that it's more human than human because you can teach the AI to say, misspell a word once every 2 sentences, for example. speak like a 10th grader. So you can make the AI behave in whatever way you want it to. So if we do 100 outreaches a day, maybe only 10 or 12 people actually get into an engaged conversation with the bot. But I did this for Patriot Mobile recently. They're a cell phone provider. They're the only Christian mobile provider in the country. So they said, we would like to test it, but we don't really want to sign up yet. Can you just show us what this does? And within the first morning, I had at least 10 dialogues going back and forth. And they were like, these were business owners, because I pointed the AI at business owners and entrepreneurs. And we knew they had at least 100 employees. So we're not just going to sell a single phone plan for $50 a month. No, we're going to try to get the whole 100 or more employees. So we just open up the dialogue, and within like 2 days, I sent this enterprise salesperson, 10 or 15, hey, this one's warmed up, they're ready for a conversation. So Facebook AI, if I fast forward where things are going, I think that's what you're going to start to see is much more AI powered chatbots that become extremely intelligent and have the ability to have full conversations from start to finish.
Well, that's the part that's obviously scary and threatening all at the same time, because humans won't even be interacting at all in the near future. But that's neither here nor there. For the purposes of this discussion, it's what.
Well, and I just had a conversation with the CEO of a tech company that uses AI to listen to sales conversations and then surface the upsell opportunities. So they plug into a tool called Gainsight. Gainsight is the number one when it comes to customer success for tech companies. So imagine you have gigabytes and gigabytes of data. Well, in the past, the rep forgets something or misses it because they're new to the business. Now the AI is able to listen to it, serve it up, and then a human does the follow-up. So I really believe that this kind of AI, the low-level person that was doing this chat from, an $8 an hour job or $2 from the Philippines, that may be at risk. Mm-hmm. But I look at this technology as augmented intelligence as opposed to artificial. At some point, a human's got to get involved, right? AI can't really build rapport, trust. They can't look in the eye. They can't, so I really do believe that the AI will first maybe disrupt some of the lower level monotonous jobs. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to a salesperson, I just don't see a whole lot of risk there anytime soon.
Well, and I've said that because I actually teach a negotiations training workshop. And we had this discussion, and I said, for me personally, my belief is I can outsell or out negotiate just about everybody I know, because I still can, on the phone or in person, across the kitchen table, I can read somebody's body language, their emotions, the tear in their corner of their eye. And I don't see AI being able to ever do that. Never say never, but that would be really interesting to see, an AI tool that could pick up on a twitch of somebody's eye as they're holding back tears, right?
Well, so I learned this from a 25-year veteran of AI. He said that most of the money in the world right now is being spent on statistical AI. And statistical is one of these kids is doing his own thing, right? Let's find the zero amongst all the pack of ones, for example. So underneath the hood, it's all just based on statistical analysis very, very fast. Where we're headed, his prediction is that once all the money moves towards cognitive AI, where the AI is actually smart, not just statistical, it'll take 5 years from the time you shoot the starting gun. It'll take a good 5 years to get to the point where it's smart. Now, Chris Wright is the founder of the AI Trust Council. He believes that a lot of this cognitive AI has already been invested in by different people in the world, right? Different governments and other third-party companies. And he likens where AI will be headed as a human is to an ant, as AI is to a human. Mm-hmm. And so we as a human race need to be extremely careful, because very quickly that learning curve of the AI is moving up and to the right faster than you can imagine. And so we've got to put in code like the US Constitution built into the AI code to protect human rights. Otherwise, it'll be very easily optimized for pure profit and not worry about anybody else, right? So there's some definite concerns. the positive that I'm seeing is this term called responsible AI. And that just came about recently. And now there's a whole group of people that are focused on, okay, how do we deploy responsible AI? So yeah, it's moving fast. That's for sure.
Which makes great sense. My fear with that is you start talking about regulations and government agencies and stuff getting involved, and they always put legislation in place to help, but the unintended consequences or intended consequences, depending on your beliefs, usually end up hurting the people that they supposedly were trying to help to begin with. And so I love the responsible AI movement. I would be very interested to see how that actually works out, because there's always the greed factor that comes in and money starts flowing, and pretty soon the responsible part goes by the wayside. I hope not.
Yeah. Now, on your point of negotiations, so I'm taking a communications course right now, and I'm about 6 months in. And it's a master practitioner who has 35 years of linguistics, NLP, you name it, she teaches it. So being able to understand if the person's using audio, visual, kinesthetic types of words. Mm-hmm. So knowing Gen AI, I was like, Susan, you just gave me like 3 pages of words to describe someone that's visual. How am I going to know that, right? Like, this is too hard. And so I copied and pasted all those words into Gen AI, into ChatGPT. Then I exported a webinar that I did of 45 minutes. And I said, find all the visual like words. And it surfaced them, and it was like, okay, here it is. And then show me what percentage is visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. And it's able to tell me that. So imagine a time where you're on a Zoom and you've got a little sidecar over there that says, Chad, slow down. You're not pacing and matching the other person on the other side of the phone. Speed up, raise your voice. Use kinesthetic, audio, or visual words in your language. I mean, I think the powered by automation could give someone who's not to the level that you are, where I have a fear is, okay, now that I've trained the human to read the sidecar, what happens when it's undetectable that you're actually talking to an AI, and right, with the visual, the fake Chad, powered by this intelligence from Susan? Man, that's going to be a scary time.
Yeah, 100%. And
yeah.
And that's the part where, for me, getting face to face with people, not virtually, but actually shaking their hand and talking with them, I don't know that you can ever replace that. But, 15, 20 years ago, I would have never predicted that I'd be running the business that I do today, the way I do today. So Lord only knows.
Lord only knows. Yeah.
This stuff is really fascinating. We know it changes by the minute, literally. Where does somebody just start? I mean, if somebody's coming in and they have no experience with AI whatsoever, maybe they've been on chat a couple times, but what's the starting point for a business owner that wants?
There's a lot of great newsletters out there. We run our podcast. It's called AI for Sales. A new episode comes out every 2 weeks. And it goes back a good 5 years. So, you could randomly pick one from 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and then stay up to speed. We also have a newsletter on LinkedIn that goes out every Saturday. And it really points to the most recent episode. It uses AI to pick out the salient points. But that's just our stuff. There's conferences now that are being put on for 2 days. There's newsletters, there's aggregators. I think one's called Ben's Bites, if I remember right, because I see that every day. And it's just good to have in your inbox. Sign up for 2 or 3 of these different newsletters and just skim it, right? Whether you read the whole thing or not, stay on top of the top of it, just the headlines. But what I will say is most technologies now, when you buy any kind of software, it's gonna have AI under the hood. So the good news is you don't have to go out and be an expert. Whether you're early adopter, late majority, doesn't matter where you are on that, you're gonna get AI, and it's gonna be consumable and easy to use the further we get down the path.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the part where every time I switch phones or I update phones, it frustrates me for about 6 weeks until I get used to it. And then 6 weeks later, you don't know how you lived without it. And, that's, again, me being non-techie. So I can definitely embrace it. And I'm seeing what my staff is doing with AI already, which is just a drop in the bucket. But what do you have available? Because I know that, you have a solution service. What do you offer for people that are kind of more like me. Just I want to step on the shoulders of a giant and have an expert just start to do it. What does that look like?
Yeah, well, the good news for us is that my son graduates from Colorado School of Mines in May. So by the time this episode airs, he may be graduated. He's already been working with customers, and he's bringing over a colleague of his who's also from Colorado School of Mines. So it's really nice when you've got someone who has 4 years of AI related experience in computer information science, because a lot of what we've done for 7 years now, like I said, it starts with data. Who am I reaching out to? Then the digital outreach, which social channel is the best fit for that market, any or all of the above, and then dials. So yeah, we offer software and services, anywhere from do it yourself, and we'll teach you how to do it at the lowest cost, to done with you, or completely outsourced done for you. So packages start as low as a couple $100 a month, and you can be using AI to do outreach to sign up new customers very quickly, very easily. And I really believe that as people like Brendan and Kyle come into the business, the things they've seen for the last 4 years in their college and have been using daily, I think are going to be a huge benefit to the customers that we serve.
No, for sure. Chad, what's a question I should be asking you that I'm not? And by the way, I do this on almost every show because it's easy for me to kind of jam with you and think of things, but I don't know what I don't know. So what's something I should be asking you?
Well, the one question I was asked on a Newsmax or one of those shows, Ticker Tape, I think is what it was, about 6 months ago. They said, will this be a net job creator or a net job destructor? And so I didn't necessarily know the answer, so I went out and researched it. And the overall consensus is that over the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be 100 million jobs worldwide lost from AI. And I'm going to leave it there for a second because holy cow, that's 100 million out of the 3 billion jobs. So yeah, it's substantial. You could feel it, right? If you were the head of the world labor force and you lost 100 million jobs. But here's the kicker. There's 80 to 90 million added jobs that are directly attributable to AI. So we're talking 10 million gap across 3.2 billion labor force workers in the world. That's a rounding error. So I think what that means for all of us is amazing things because productivity goes up, the monotonous jobs go down. So where people are afraid of the elephant in the room, what's it going to mean? I'll give you one other example from my conversation this morning. She said, when algorithms came out for investing, like which stock should I pick? Mm-hmm. You would have thought that would be the end of the world for investment advisors. And she goes, no, it's flourished. Like there's more investment advisors now than there ever have been. So I think a lot of times we as humans look at the downside of technologies like this. Oh no, a calculator's coming out. Or, oh no, the farm equipment's coming out. This is terrible. What about all those people that we have in the field that are doing such awesome work? Do they really want to be in the field doing such awesome work? Probably not. They'd rather be behind a tractor or driving the tractor with an AI. So that's the positive of all of this, I believe, is that it's a net positive impact. Maybe we can get to that 4-day work week that everybody's talked about for 100 years someday. We'll see.
Well, I wouldn't bet on it because I think like most people, even if they could get to a 4-day work week, they would probably just go spend more money and have to take on a second job. So
yeah, right. And that one extra day could mean one more bot gets programmed, or I launch another company, or there's always more to do, isn't there?
There is. I mean, when you're entrepreneurial, we just take it on regardless because it's what we do, most of us anyways. And I can't tell you, Chad, this is very intriguing to me. Again, I don't have a lot of experience with it. I'm starting to see it within my staff. And for you to take the time to explain this, we were talking before we started recording today that I could probably have you on every month and we'd have completely new stories to talk about because stuff is changing so quickly. But that's maybe something that we should probably plan is to do a...
Yeah, we could do a quarterly update or something. The last thing I want to tell your listeners, there's this thing called the trolley car dilemma. And what that means is, imagine you're the conductor of a train and it's going down the tracks and it splits into two and it can't stop. You have to choose right or left. And on the right side, there's 4 people, orange jumpsuits in a chain gang. And on the left side, there's an individual one person. So think about this related to AI, right? Whoever's programming the AI, if that's a human, they're going to make a decision based on all of the learnings they've had over their lifetime, right? An ethical and moral decision. Now, let's say, okay, the one person on the left is your son or daughter. Does that change the equation? Okay, now they're graduating, they have a cap and gown on. Does that change the equation? There's just so much variability that needs to be programmed into the decision-making of the AI that I just want anyone who's talking about this to think about the ethical implications and who gets to insert the code. Is it the US Constitution? Is it the Bible? Is it another religion from another place around the world? Like, those are very, very important questions as this continues to go forward. So I just want people talking about that very important topic.
No, and you just hit on a point that we've kind of touched on it throughout the conversation, but the moral and ethic responsibility of AI could absolutely be used for a lot of bad stuff. People that have no morals or ethics. And even in my own experience now, I mean, you can tell when an email response is generated by chat and they didn't go and actually put anything personal into it. And people are starting to kind of get almost a negative connotation when you're saying, oh, that was that Facebook post that was done on chat, the tone in their voice, everything else. But man, when you even talked about LinkedIn, and I got a little bit inside my head, I got a little bit like, wow, am I really talking to a human when I'm having these interactions, or am I not? Now, I don't have a problem with talking to a bot if it's, everybody's moving forward, the agenda is moving forward, and it's a place that benefits all of us. That's great. But
well, and you should probably expose that you're talking to a bot. If you're the seller, then you can call it virtual assistant so that you're not, acting like you're a real person when it's really a bot. So there's certain best practices, I think, that are going to be important as well, for sure.
I do too. But you and I both know there is a certain percentage of the population that will lie, steal, and cheat no matter what. And this is just another way for them to lie, steal, and cheat. So I love the fact that you've got the podcast out there, that you're pushing the ethical and moral route with this. And if anybody wants to get in touch with you as far as what you have to offer, they can go to thegenerationsofwealth.com/Chad Burmeister. We'll have a link right to Chad's site and his opportunities that he has. And again, Chad, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate you.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. And until the next show, we appreciate everybody listening. Please like, share, get people involved in the Generations of Wealth. Go to Facebook, join the Generations of Wealth Facebook group, and interact there. And until next time, go out, live your vision, love your life. See y'all.
Thank you for joining us on another insightful episode of Generations of Wealth. May your newfound knowledge help you in leveling up your own strategies to get through the many obstacles to your money-making processes and bring you much closer to the financially secure life you truly deserve. Continue filling up your accounts and further polish your financial tactics by listening to more episodes of the podcast at thegenerationsofwealth.com. Because in your wealth-building journey, there is no other way to go but up, giving you the chance to finally live your vision, love your life. That's all for now. See you on the next one.